Welcome to CHI 2026. I am Nuria Oliver, and I'm Director of ELIS Alicante.
And I'm David Imanchama at MBZ UAI, soon to be at Northeastern Oakland.
And together with us, we have two amazing assistants that have been helping us through the process.
Jay Lee from TU Delft and cake researcher.
And Tamara from Roche. Before we proceed to present and officially open the conference with our content, we wanted to welcome Mr. Jordi Valls. He is the 4th Deputy Mayor of the city of Barcelona, and he's going to officially start the conference and welcome you all to this wonderful city. So please, Mr. Jordi Valls, if you could come to stage.
Okay, welcome. Good morning, everybody. Bon dia. Muy buenos días a todos. Welcome to Barcelona. I hope you enjoy these days here in Barcelona. Barcelona is a city with important values. At the same time, we tried to choose and to mix the values of the city, the values of the people and the collective, and all the collective people, and at the same time, the technology. This is a city where you can find Barcelona Supercomputing Center, you can find several infrastructure in the technology. Today, technology is really important for everybody. And when you try to use technology is the way you try to delegation our capacity to do something to the technology. And the politics more or less is the same. Politics is that people provide you the delegation to take some decisions on behalf of the people. And in both sides, the most important question is control. Who try to control this delegation? And probably when these days you discuss about the relationship between technology and human, probably one of the questions you have to discuss is that matter. In any case, thank you very much to choose Barcelona. And thank you very much to try to have a strong debate about this kind of relationship. Artificial intelligence is really important for all the fields today here in the city, in any city or in the world. When we discuss about health, when we discuss about climate change, when we discuss about energy, we need technology. But at the same time, it's important to take an important step how we use this technology. For example, using in the massive way artificial intelligence not necessarily imply the consequence is intelligent. And you can see several examples today here around the world. But in any case, the debate is yours. Choose Barcelona, it's good for you and good for us. Enjoy this city. The next days probably with the sunny days here in Barcelona. And thank you very much to choose Barcelona to do this debate. Thank you very much. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jordi Valls. And now we start with the content. So when we were thinking about the motto for the conference, we found inspiration in a tradition here in Barcelona or in Catalonia, which is called Castellers. Castellers are human towers, as you can see in the pictures, that require a lot of teamwork for the tower not to fall.
Also, on the teamwork and collaboration to build new things and creative endeavors, we really thought that this was exemplary of what we're trying to do with the motto of our conference of creating tomorrow together.
Creant el demà junts o creando el mañana juntos. This year, we have a record number of attendees. There are 5,254 people here in Barcelona. Thank you all for coming.
And some of you may know, last year we were in Yokohama, and we moved the conference around regionally to draw more talent and content and professionals and academics to present. And we saw that surge, last year in Yokohama from Asia, and we're seeing it continue with more Asian participants coming in for the conference this year, and we hope to continue this endeavor as CHI moves around to expand more globally and have more participation.
But even with so many people here, it is also the case that the war in the Middle East caused many to cancel their CHI 2026 plans. So we are really sorry for this, and our thoughts are with everybody that couldn't make it, or even if they weren't going to come.
So this year we had, across all the tracks in PCS, almost 10,000 things submitted. So it's really incredible. TPC will talk about that more later, but we had to we issued 1,215 visa letters from Zhao Yu, pretty much one person, which was really great. And as we got over capacity and oversold, we increased the venue capacity by 20% to allow for more participation.
Yeah. Of course, it's not just Eamon and I that have been working on this. This conference is possible thanks to the volunteering work of over 100 members of the organizing committee, and I wanted you all to thank them right now with a big applause. You can identify all of us because we have this nice and fashionable neckerchief. So if you want to figure out who is in the organizing committee, just look for this distinctive accessory.
Wrong way, there we go. Oh, great. So CHI is also nothing without our student volunteers. We have over 200 this year. They're in this auditorium. They're everywhere throughout the conference. They're wearing red t-shirts with the CHI logo on it. And if you have any question, find them. They're there to help you. They're the most wonderful people that really make this conference work. So let's give an applause to them.
And of course, the conference also wouldn't be possible without the support of all our sponsors. So we wanted to thank you them, starting with our hero sponsor, Google.
Of our championship sponsors, there's Adobe,
Apple,
Meta,
Microsoft,
Mohammed bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence,
Toyota Research Institute,
and contributing sponsor, Autodesk.
and of course, Sakai. So, as you know, accessibility is a big priority at CHI. There are automated captions available in all sessions, and there are QR codes in the entrance of all rooms, so you can scan them to use the app for the captioning. There are gender-neutral bathrooms on each floor. There is a desensitization quiet room on floor M2. Anyone who is a speaker, please remember to be close to the microphone so everybody can hear you and to speak very clearly, especially for the captioning. If you have an accessibility request, please come to the reception desk or find a student volunteer with a red t-shirt. New from this year, we also have assistance navigating. So if you need assistance navigating the venue, please look for this assistance, asking to a student volunteer about the WhatsApp channel, and if they don't know, please ask the accessibility chairs.
Also new for this year is the Global Plaza in Science program. We've had a Global Plaza for many years now, and we thought actually to take more time and space at the conference and run a scientific global session, which is the Global Science program, and we hope to continue this year over year here at CHI. Today it's Monday in the banquet room, which is on floor P2 in the afternoon right after lunch. Please come by and contribute to the global science initiatives that are happening across the planet.
And tomorrow we have the job fair. So there will be many booths. There will be advertisements for open jobs if you are looking for a job. There will be lots of demos. There will be refreshments. And we have live music of typical Spanish music with a band called the David Torres Band. So we invite you all to join us tomorrow for the job fair.
We also have a new student mentoring program. So this sort of takes the evolution of the doctoral consortium to bring in more students and provide more support and mentoring and guidance. There are several programs available in our new program, in this new initiative. There's Building a Cohort, which is a closed session to people who applied through the process. There's a panel discussion, which is this afternoon, and it's open to everybody. And there's also a research roundtable for focused PhD studies. We have 100 people overall in this program, and we look to expand even more to allow more students in for mentoring year over year at CHI.
So As you know, the ACM has a policy against harassment, and of course here at CHI, we embrace the policy. We believe that if we want to have real discussions and encourage creativity, people need to feel safe, and every voice needs to be heard. So we encourage you to speak up if you witness or if you are subject to any behavior that you consider inappropriate. We have absolutely zero tolerance for any bullying, threatening, or abusive behavior, for any racism, homophobia, or any other kind of discrimination or harassment of any kind. Please contact a student volunteer or a chair, and if you would like to report an incident or a complaint, please use the online form that appears on the slide.
And while this can be a bit confusing or daunting or traumatic, we do have a layer of support for that called SIG-CHI Cares. Several of these people are here at the conference, and they're there to help you navigate and understand and help you figure out how to come to a peaceful resolution and file issues or anything else you need. So really, they're here for you and to help out. If you want to reach out to them, there's a QR code here. You can find any chair SV, and we can guide you to them for assistance.
Now, we would like to welcome our wonderful technical program chairs team to the stage, please.
So, hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Pablo Cesar. I'm from CWI and TU Delft.
I'm Eloisa Candelo. I'm working at Intelli.
Hi, I'm Pedro Lopez from the University of Chicago.
So, welcome to Barcelona. You cannot imagine how happy I am that I'm here this morning in the Mediterranean. So, the first thing we want to do is that we want to thank our assistants. So, Xiang, Alexandra, Maxi, and Jazz. Maybe you can stand up. You have done an incredible and amazing job. So, just a big applause for them, please. Putting a program together is very hard, so without all that assistance and support, it would have been impossible. As we said last year, let me change the slide, sorry, let's see. Oh. Yeah. As we said last year in Yokohama, so big changes were coming, and we have kept our promise. So as you have seen, and you will see, then the mornings they will be dedicated to scientific talks. The afternoons, they will be more for interaction, and it will be more for scientific networking. Then, in terms of the program, what we have tried to do is that we have created the building blocks. So then, what you can do, and what you have done, is just to create your own CHI. In that sense, so we have some things that they didn't change very much, like, for example, papers or panels, interactive demos, the journals or the research competition. Some of them, they have radically changed, as you probably have experienced, like workshops and panels, and posters, sorry. And some of them, they are new, like the meetups and like the student mentoring program. So as you can see in the sliding here, the community has spoken. So you have seen that there is an increase on each of the tracks in the number of submissions. So I think we would like to thank you all for giving us the job of making this new CHI for the future.
So our community is expanding with more voices from multiple countries. So lately we are having more papers and more than ever this year. We can see how Asia, if we look at the chart, China, India, and Hong Kong, and Europe, Spain and Italy, have contributed more than ever to the CHI this year. So let's keep this energy and this growth and continue impacting the world. We can find more details about the data in our several blogs produced by our analytics chairs, Svin, Gu, and Christina. that they did an incredible work. The Conferência Awards recognize the best scientific contributions we have. So as in previous years, CHI this year selected only 1% of the submissions as best papers and 5% as honorable mentions. This process resulted in 62 best papers and 213 honorable mentions, showcasing the best that you have at CHI. And we'd like to, of course, thank Cosmin, Mariana, and Albrecht for their service, for working with the subcommittee chairs and papers, also paper chairs. Please engage, ask a lot of questions, keep the energy, interact, and learn a lot this week.
Amazing. I get the privilege of doing this part, which is really a big part of CHI. The people that you see here on the screen had the monstrous task of handling all the papers that you just saw that we received, and without them, this would not be possible. These are tasks spanning from things like creating the subcommittees, assessing the works, the very popular revise and resubmit. I can promise you these 8 people have not had a rest since the beginning of this CHI years ago. So we would like to deeply thank Alessandro, Thomas, Vera, Xiaojun for their excellent work and dedication, but also their assistants, Anna, Xinyu, Churong, and Celine. So let's give them a big round of applause, please. All right, so the slide you all want to take a photo of. Take a photo. This year we had over 6,700 submissions. That's about 1,500 more, 1,500 in European style, more than last year. We accepted 1,702 articles, so that's also more than last year, with about 25.3% acceptance rate, which is roughly in line with what we saw in Yokohama. But it's also not just about quantity and numbers, it's really about the quality of the program. And this would not have been possible without the volunteer work of everyone in this room, actually. From the 18 subcommittees, the 55 subcommittee chairs, 1,203 ACs, yeah, you heard that right, 4,900 reviewers providing over 23,000 reviews. This absolutely takes like a giant city of like the size of Barcelona to pull off CHI every year. So we would like to extend, the 3 of us, our gratitude to all the reviewers for your service, that your efforts made this conference possible. Very, very special, yeah, please. Now, anytime we accept papers, posters, anything into CHI, we create more work for these amazing people that are here. And we really wanted to thank our publications chairs who have a really heavy workload, over with 5,000 accepted items in PCS that they somehow had to manage through the camera ready process and et cetera. So we would like to thank their organizational skills, their dedication and patience. They're like really embody what an amazing team is like. So thank you, Phoebe, Gustavo, Anke, Sheen, Valentino, and Fiona. Please, a huge round of applause. And now we would like to hand over to Neha Kumar, our lovely SIGCHI president.
Hola, good morning, SIGCHI. I'm Neha Kumar, and I'm president of SIGCHI, the ACM Special Interest Group, for which CHI is the flagship conference. It is a pleasure and honor to welcome you to CHI 2026, and I'd like to start by sharing the state of our SIG. SIGCHI is among ACM's largest SIGs, if not the largest, now with approximately 5,000 members distributed across 79 chapters and 93 countries. The top 10 countries that our members come from are distributed across the world. Our SIG has the largest portfolio of conferences across ACM, and this year we're excited to see the inauguration of the Interactive Health Conference, which will be taking place in Portugal in July. And we also look forward to welcoming conferences on computational fabrication, critical computing, HCI education, and more into our portfolio. We publish a lot. You can see here that over the last 25 years, SIGCHI publications have steadily increased in number, Okay, I'm gonna get this right. All of these publications are now openly accessible on the ACM Digital Library, thanks to ACM's landmark move to 100% open access as of January 1st of this year. This is a transition that we have been awaiting eagerly and tracking carefully, doing our best to ensure that we're here to support our authors as their institutions secure ACM open coverage. So please let us know if there's anything more that we can do to support you in this transition. Quantitative metrics are helpful for assessing the well-being of a SIG, but as all SIG leaders recognize, what adds true meaning to these numbers is a sense of belonging and spirit of community, such as what we experience here in this room year after year. Our values, our commitments, our unique ability to engage in critical and open dialogue, our care for just futures, and a strong desire to leave a positive impact in the world. CHI affords time and space for us to make these visible, and this year I'd like to invite you to participate in 3 crucial and interwoven conversations that are top of mind for us as a SIG. Number 1 is how might we reimagine our publishing practices to address the growth that we're seeing in our conferences and research areas? What does responsible AI use look like for SIG-CHI and its practices of knowledge production? And in a world where there is so much in flux and we find ourselves embedded in war and conflict, how might we channel care and energy towards ensuring the well-being of our communities and our conferences? So talk to us, to the SIG-CHI Executive Committee, the EC. Together, we oversee a number of different aspects of the SIG, focusing on global and local presence, community and care, and ensuring that we remain at the cutting edge of knowledge creation. We invite all stakeholder perspectives as we work through these complex conversations, and the QR code will tell you exactly when and where. You can join us at the SIG-CHI Town Hall and our panel on co-designing SIG-CHI futures on Wednesday. We look forward to hearing from our conferences and chapters on Thursday and Friday, and through the conference at the SIG-CHI Lounge, where we invite you to engage with us in a number of different areas. In addition, I invite you to attend SIG-CHI Awards panels and talks. So today we'll be having the SIG-CHI Academy panel, and then the Outstanding Dissertation and Societal Impact panels tomorrow afternoon, and the Lifetime Service and Lifetime Research talks are scheduled for Thursday. On that note, I am delighted to share with you the names of those that we celebrate this year with awards and special recognitions. This year's Lifetime Research Award goes to Laurie Craner and Joe Constan. We thank them for reshaping our field through decades of path-breaking research. Feel free to applaud. We are proud and grateful to recognize 2 volunteer leaders for immense service contributions to the SIG-CHI community, Cliff Lampe and Helena Mentis. For mobilizing positive societal impact with their HCI research, we're delighted to recognize John Freilich, Jackie O'Neill, and Volker Wolf. Inspiring us with their outstanding dissertations, Humphrey Curtis, Martin Fike, Ian Kyung Jo, Shukran Karos Manolu, and Ben Zefang Zhang. To the SIG-CHI Academy, we are inducting Jeffrey Bigham, Laura Dabish, Nicholas Elmquist, Darren Gergel, Kai Gronbeck, Chris Harrison, Corey Inkman, Catherine Isbister, Per-Ola Christensen, Joseph Laviola, and Eric Paulos. For the second year in a row, our special recognition category aims to recognize excellence along dimensions that our awards might otherwise miss. Vicente Arroyos, Liban Hussein, Kyle Johnson, Sonia Kwok, Shaima Lazem, Maristella Matera, Brennan Schaffner, and Phoebe Tubes-Dugas. Together, they contribute to SIG-CHI excellent mentorship, commitment to community and institution building, and best practices in achieving collective and real-world impact. And to all of this year's awardees and special recognition recipients, we are proud to celebrate you. Equally, we wish to take a moment to remember the people who shape us, guide us, and stay with us long after the applause fades. This year, we lost one of those people. Vicki Hansen, former ACM president and CEO, was not only a pioneering researcher, she was a leader, a mentor, and a force for inclusion in Sakai and across computing. Her work helped define accessibility as a core concern for our field, not as a niche, but as a fundamental responsibility. Her leadership reminded us that communities like ours are strongest when they are intentional about who is included and how. Many of us in this room have been shaped by her through her scholarship, her mentorship, or simply the example that she set. So before we continue, I'd like us to take a moment of silence to honor Vicki and the tremendous impact that she has had on our community and throughout ACM. In this world that Vicki leaves behind, we are blessed to have volunteer leaders who follow in her footsteps and go the extra mile to ensure that we have a community that is seen, heard, and cared for. Please join me in extending a warm and heartfelt gratitude to the general and technical program chairs this year for exceeding all of our expectations in terms of what it takes to get to opening day. Equally, I'd like to commend the efforts of the committee that steers the CHI Conference series, working with dedication year after year to ensure that we're pushing boundaries of innovation and excellence at every step, and that every year's CHI is better than the last. And even as we thank the CHI team, we know that SIGCHI flourishes thanks to the efforts of hundreds and thousands, some in this room, some outside, and we encourage you to take the time to thank a volunteer and send a note of appreciation their way. You can use this QR code. You can also find it linked from the sigchi.org website. And with that, I want to thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful CHI.
Thank you, Neha, so much. Moving on to the rest of the presentation right now, we're going to start with keynote speakers.
We have two great keynotes, one opening the conference and one closing. Opening is Pep Cattell from the Fiora, and you've got an email to download an app that goes along with the presentation. That QR code will show up a couple more times if you didn't.
Yes, don't wait until the last minute because we are more than 5,000 people here and it might collapse the Wi-Fi. For closing keynotes, we have Tamar Maki from the University of Cambridge and Danny Claude from the University of Cambridge and Plectrum.
And if you go to the SIGCHI Programs app, in the little corner, there's a globe with some links. You'll find the Slido link right there. And when you tap that, you'll see several events that you can ask questions on in rooms like this. It's too big to have a runner and a microphone. So please use Slido.
And we have one more thing, little surprise.
Exciting, right? All right. Hello, everyone. Buenos dias. Good morning. My name is Marta. This conference changed my career path 25 years ago in Seattle, so I'm so happy to welcome all of you. I'm a keynote chair with Mary Sawinski, who was not able to be here today with us. It is my honor to introduce you to Pep Gattel. He is a pioneer in the arts, and we're gonna have an amazing keynote that him and his team has prepared. He is the president and the artistic director of Le Fura dels Baus, who has done incredible performances all around the world. He has introduced HCI techniques, and he has changed the role of the audience in theater and in the performing arts. You will see how some of the things that he has pioneered here in Spain and around the world has been introduced in other theater groups also around the world. When I was asking Pep this morning what he's most proud of is the ability to work with many people through the work that he does. And when I asked his team what they would like to highlight about Pep by working with Pep for so many years, they said that it's his pioneering spirit. He's always learning and always looking to apply things that he learns to the work that he does. Please welcome Pep Gatell. And for those of you that have not yet downloaded the app that we're going to use during his keynote, here you have, for a few more seconds, the QR codes that you can use to download the app. Please help me welcome Pep Gatell to stage.
Hola, buenos días.
Hello, good morning.
Muchas gracias por.
Thank you so much for your time.
Espero que pasemos un rato agradable.
Let's hope we all have a great time today.
Y primero dar las gracias.
And first of all, I would like to thank Nuria Oliver for her invitation, for inviting me to this conference.
Y dar las gracias
And I would like to thank as well
a la gente de la organización
everyone from the organization.
por hacer posible
Thank you so much for making this event possible,
Barcelona.
for making it possible for me to be here today in Barcelona.
Un placer para mí.
It's a great pleasure for me to have you all here in my hometown. Thank you so much for coming.
Bueno, pues en. Vale. En La Fura
So in La Fura, La Fura is a group, it's a multidisciplinary group, performance group,
que tiene 47 años de historia.
that has 47 years of history.
Empezó en el
In
año
fact, it
79,
started in 1979 after 40 years of dictatorship
Franco.
of
Era
the dictator Francisco Franco.
especial.
It was a special time for all Spanish people because we were living freedom for the first time with the Constitution,
Acabábamos de
a constitution that we had just signed a year before
La Fura dels Baus.
the Fura started, and it was all born in the streets.
La calle, como otros grupos
And as other
en
groups
esa época, persiguiendo
that
recuperar estas
happened throughout that time, we were actually following the folklore, the Spanish folklore, something very passionate, that we live with passion. For example, the carnival,
fallas de Valencia,
the fallas of Valencia,
los Sanfermines,
the Sanfermines
Sebastián, hay en Pamplona,
in Pamplona,
y los Castellers.
and of course the Castellers, which is
Esto estaba prohibido.
the cultural movement that you have already seen. And the objective was to recover, our objective was to recover these popular festivities with a lot of passion. And I'm going to show you straight away
Una muestra de cómo
how
estas fiestas son súper pasionales.
these festivals are just so passionate. This is
Voy a hacer.
an example.
Habéis visto ahora los Castellers. Qué sensación.
You have now seen Castellers. You're moved with the emotion that they live through.
No son para
And
son para vivir
It's true that there are some festivities, some folklore that you have to live, that you have to experience.
una plaza pequeña.
This is a tiny, tiny little square, and I hope you can experience what we experienced there.
Poco más de volumen.
A little more volume, please. There we go.
Así son las fiestas.
So these are the parties here. This is the festivity.
Son fiestas muy bestias.
It is actually wild.
Sí. Son fiestas que te tocan el corazón.
This is a party, a celebration that touches your heart, basically. And if you've been there, if you've been in that square precisely,
Seguro que te acuerdas toda la vida.
I'm sure you will remember for a lifetime that you were there with all of this fire above you.
Nuestro grupo quería conseguir esto en sus
Our
espectáculos.
group wanted to recreate this in the shows.
Por otra parte, en España,
On the other hand, in Spain,
cantidad de culturas que no habían. Que
there
habían
were
estado.
so many cultures that were once forbidden.
Había teatro de vanguardia que
We
llegaba.
had avant-garde theater, author cinema, we had avant-garde cinema, things that had never seen before. We had this liberal movement, the Destape. We were seeing for the first time naked bodies without any censorship.
Y entraban grupos como
And there were several groups, such as the Great Magic Circus. They were
escatológicos,
very scatological.
todo lo que había estado prohibido por Francisco.
It was such a surprise for everyone. Everything had been forbidden by Francisco Franco, by the dictator. And this was a great time to live in.
En la Fura queríamos
In the Fura, we wanted to be unique.
ese sueño.
We were following this dream, this folklore, this avant-garde movement.
Esto es una furgoneta
This is a van that we used to have.
porque no
We
te.
have to pay it little by little because we didn't have any budget left.
Y eso nos profesionalizó. Tener
And we became more professional with this van because we were actually splitting the cost of this van that made us more organized, more professional in some way.
otra de las cosas que nos hizo cambiar.
And something that made us change as well was this sense of unconsciousness.
Accidentes.
Because there were accidents, of course, along the way, and you need to learn from accidents. That's really important.
Ha evolucionado
Medicine was able to
a muchos accidentes.
evolve, and thanks to different accidents that happened in the laboratory. Art was able to improve thanks to several accidents that happened. Whenever there's an accident, everything changes. It shapes everything.
Eso en nuestros
If
espectáculos.
we are able to replicate this, to recreate this feeling in the stage,
La gente se acordará de nosotros.
people will remember us. This is what we thought. And
De incertidumbre.
it's also uncertain. We wanted the public to experience that as well, the
También
uncertainty.
una de las cosas muy importantes.
One of the most important things,
Se ha quedado sin pilas.
sorry, no batteries.
Dale aquí, en este. Vale. La tecnología,
Technology, you know.
las demos, efecto demo.
Yeah, this is the demo effect.
También
Okay,
los
so
espacios que escojáis.
the spaces that you choose are of extreme importance
Puedes presentar una medicina
because you can present
o un espectáculo.
a show or you can present a medicine or whatever you present. And you have to take care of the
Vas a
space,
presentar lo que
of the
tienes.
space where you will be presenting.
Ese espacio
Because
puede
that
regalar,
space
te puede regalar
is something that can gift you so many things, so many unexpected things.
Y por último,
And last but not least, Speaking of technology, speaking of the devil, we actually bought this graphic synthesizer
sin instrucciones.
without any instructions. It didn't come with any instructions at all, so
Nos pasábamos todo el rato.
basically we
hacer
spent
sonido.
several hours trying to recreate the same sound, but it was impossible. And
Quiero hacer un experimento.
I would like to run a little experiment with you today.
Os voy a poner una música.
I'm going to play some music, and I would like all of you to close your eyes, please.
Os veo a todos. Cerrarlos.
I see you. Please close your eyes. I see you from here.
¿Sí?
Okay? Yeah, over there.
¿Vale?
I shut. Okay.
Una vez los tenemos cerrados.
Once you close your eyes,
En vuestro
we're going to imagine in our brains
una imagen con esta música.
a little image with this sound.
¿Vale?
Okay?
Hecho.
You got it?
Ahora, después de 24 o 48, muchas.
After 24 or 48 hours listening to this, as we would listen, I want you to close your eyes.
Otra imagen.
Imagine you've been listening this for 48 hours, and I want you to imagine a different image with this music.
Vuestro cerebro
Your brains
a dos espacios distintos.
have traveled to two different spaces. Technology
El poder
has the power
de cambiar.
to change your brain plasticity, okay?
No me lo invento.
This is not something that I just made up. You have suffered, right?
Habéis creado.
While you were imagining this, you have created a different world in your minds.
Gracias a la tecnología.
Thanks to what? To technology here.
Nos cambió.
So technology changed the way we shaped the world, we saw the world,
Y el grupo cambió.
and the group changed.
¿Veis? Antes
You
éramos
see here, we
esa
used to
parte.
be this part of the story,
Pues esto.
and we changed and
Capaces
we transformed. We were able to carry out this show
que transgredió
that
las teatrales. Del
broke every barrier, and it changed the theater sphere.
Tira. Un vídeo. Es un vídeo. Año 1984.
This was 1984.
Voy a cortar.
Cuando quieras.
Hasta aquí.
Okay, up to here.
¿Habéis visto? Es un vídeo.
Have you seen this? This is just a video. Just a video. Has no power at all.
Está hecho en el año 84.
It was done in 1984.
¿Veis cómo la tecnología nos cambió?
You see how technology has the power to change us?
Pero había ciertas
However, there were
folclore,
little bits of folklore that were immersed here, and people were living inside our space, our theatrical
la
space.
característica principal
The
de
main
espectáculos.
characteristics of our shows were that the audience wasn't there where you are. They were here, up in the stage, with the actors,
Varios
actresses.
binomios.
We have different binomes.
La carnalidad del ser humano
We have the carnality of human body versus mysticism,
cambia versus el misticismo cambia. La naturaleza y el artificio,
nature versus artifice,
cómo conviven,
how they can live with each other,
grosero y lo sofisticado.
what's rude versus what's sophisticated.
Lo sofisticado es la otra. Cambia, cambia.
Sorry, is there anyone who can come help me with the slides because I cannot do both things at the same time? Sorry. Thank you.
Cambia. Y así, el grupo,
And this is the way in which the group
el primitivismo y la
could work. Primitivism versus technology,
como habéis podido ver, ¿no?
as you were able to witness.
Lo primero que jugamos
The first thing that we wanted to play with was the following. We wanted to digitalize sound in some way.
el sonido,
And this was the first thing that was digitalized, yes, exactly.
que es el precursor.
And this was the step before,
Primero que se sampleó. Es lo
the first thing that was used, the first thing that was cut, the first thing that was sent from one continent to another. And we were able to buy this laptop, this computer,
y el MIDI,
that had MIDI.
en
And
la secuencia de MIDI,
in this MIDI sequence,
señales de
we could
signo,
place
tanto a la
yes and no signals,
como a otros ordenadores,
and we could send these signals to other laptops, other robots,
a los primeros robots que teníamos, que eran estos artilugios.
which were this kind of
Creábamos.
tools with which we could work with the public.
Y esto, en vez de solo teatralizar,
And so it was no more a theater space. It was as if we were cooking something. It was like a little pot where we were actually cooking the audience inside that pot.
todo el gas,
Because we could give as much power as we wanted. And we had everyone in there in the pot, in this pot, boiling up.
pasamos. Pues así el grupo fue mutando
And this was how the group changed and changed.
nuestra imagen.
And we were creating this image, and as we were creating this image, everything changed. In 1984, we had nothing to lose.
Recuerda,
This photography reminds us of this typical picture of the workers in New York, above a building,
cielos de Nueva York. Y es
above a skyscraper. And yeah, we wanted to jump.
aquí
We take a leap.
ya habíamos triunfado en
We had already succeed here in every festival that we went to,
éramos superhéroes.
and we were superheroes here.
Nos podía ganar.
There was nothing that could beat us.
Y en cambio,
And on the other hand, the years after, we learned that, yeah, there are some things that are beyond us, beyond our control.
son el hambre,
Hunger,
edad,
disease,
muerte,
death,
el poder del hombre sobre el hombre. Son cosas
manpower above manpower, things that are above and beyond us.
hicimos una reflexión sobre
And we wanted to reflect on this a little bit. And one of the main things that happened to us was the following. In 1990,
que estuvimos en Art Futura
we were in Art Futura,
con Timothy
and
Leary.
we were
Leary,
with Timothy Leary, who was
padre de la psicodelia.
the father of psychedelia in the United States.
Rebecca Allen,
Rebecca Lynn had worked
primeros simuladores
in the first flying simulators
americanas.
in the American Air Forces.
Scott Fisher
Scott Fisher,
dejó ver las
that
primeras gafas
allowed us to use his first three-dimension glasses.
salieron
The Oculus
5,
were released in
años antes.
2000 something, so
Y también
way before this happened. And we were also able to work with William
Gibson
Gibson,
escribió el Neuromancer y
that wrote Neuromancer,
terminó
and
espacio.
he worked with cyberspace. He was the first person to name the cyberspace. We had, therefore, the opportunity to have all of these privileged minds with us, working along the way in
Esto
this show with us.
realmente
And
nuestra mente.
this was something that we were blown away by. It opened our minds. And this is something that we haven't stopped doing until today. We are very privileged people. We are
Con mentes
very lucky people that were able to work with privileged minds.
Otra de las cosas que nos pasó
Something else that happened was the following. In 1992, the Olympic Games happened. We were a
muy underground.
cultural group, but we were sort of underground in some way.
En cambio, las Olimpiadas nos
However, on the other hand, the Olympic Games forced us not to be
daba al mundo
a group that was
ser un grupo centrífugo
actually looking through our lenses, and
salir hacia afuera.
we wanted our energy to be projected, to go to the outside, because we were a little bit on the inside, sort of.
Las otras, ves pasando por favor, las otras. Para conseguir estas imágenes tuvimos que
To
hablar
be able to get these images, we had to work with these different engineers, we had to work with different disciplines, and this was the first time ever, the first Olympic Games that recreated this story in such a way
antes
for the Olympic Games. Before this, the Olympic Games,
Walt Disney.
it was all about Walt Disney, about different characters, a pop singer, and a sort of military parade or gymnastics parade. And we were the first ones to
Este tipo de eventos explicamos una
to
historia.
to explain a story through art.
Tiramos.
Let's go, let's go.
A partir de aquí empieza
Okay, from here, we start the second trilogy. A second trilogy
que trabaja sobre el
that works
ya
with fear.
y su
The fear that we all lived
está con la tecnología,
through technology.
ganar la tecnología al hombre.
So it's a kind of man versus technology sort of war.
En el año 90
Who's going to win? And this was our mind. This was how our mind worked in 1990.
que
So
una inteligencia
we carried out the first show,
ha creado una máquina
and we wanted to recreate this sort of feeling where artificial intelligence was creating humans.
máquina podía parir.
So this machine was able to give birth to different humans.
Pero ¿cómo somos los humanos?
But what are humans like? We want to be very rebels. Young people are
Para que no nos rebelamos.
going against everything. And what were we going against? Against artificial intelligence? Well, artificial intelligence gifted us with these machines that allowed us to make love, to fuck, basically. So,
Para.
stop. You're going too fast.
Estás acelerada. ¿no?
Nuria,
Baja.
calm down.
¿Me aceleras hasta mí?
You make me rush as well.
Venga, pues la máquina
Okay, so what was this machine doing? This machine
y digital a la
was creating this digital world and this human world at the same time, and we humans and the public, the audience, was there
y así alienado,
playing and aligning with the machine, sort of.
más inteligente
So
que los humanos.
this machine was more intelligent than humans.
Espectáculo. Ahora sí,
And the second show,
Nuria, ya pues,
now you have to keep the pace up.
espectáculo. Iba sobre la manipulación.
Okay, so this show was all about information manipulation.
Es un espectáculo
This was a show that, as you can see,
escénico ya era.
It's a space where there's an illusion.
Habéis entrado en estos ascensores que tienen dos espejos, que hacen infinito.
Have you ever gone into a lift, an elevator that has like these two mirrors, and it's very weird
En un ascensor pequeñito.
because it creates this sense of something being very, very big, very spacious, but there's not much space because you're inside the elevator. So this was what we wanted to create. We wanted to create this sense of the space being infinite, but
¿Qué está pasando?
at the same time, this is counterintuitive because you feel like everyone is very, very tight in a tiny space, but you see the mirrors. And the other thing was that we were broadcasting live whatever was happening in the screens around us.
Pregrabado.
And we had
No eran reales.
pre-films that weren't real, so we had these videos.
Que veían en las
And people believed more what they saw in the screens than that what they were seeing in front of them. That was very impressive. We had rats. We had filmed rats, and people were seeing this in this space, and they were like jumping around, like, "Oh my God, a rat!" But this wasn't real.
podíamos trabajar,
So we were able to work with our bodies. We were able to change our bodies, to multiply, to create.
impensable.
This was something that was not even imaginable in the first technology. And we created worlds.
Jugado todos al Lego, ¿no?
You have all played Lego, right? Well, we were able to transform these spaces, creating these pyramids, totems,
Puertas o muros.
doors, walls.
En el muro podíamos jugar.
So in this wall, we were able to play
Que los de este lado vivían. En el otro.
because we were mentioning, okay, people from this side have a better life than people from that side.
Vecinos de allí viven mejor.
You know, the grass is always greener.
Viven o igual. O peor
But
que nosotros, ¿no?
like the main
Aquí explicábamos que en el
the main story was that even if we think that the grass is always greener, we're all the same.
y la gente toda.
We were telling the people from one side, okay, there's a great party on the other side. So they all wanted to go to the other side, but it wasn't real. There wasn't a party going on.
Y también
So
jugamos
we were always playing with this instance,
infinitos.
this infinite instance.
Instante que puede
We wanted to create an instant that would last for a long, long time. Something that you were able to witness from different points of views.
muy rápido veréis una película.
If you
Os vamos a
take a look at this really quickly, you can almost see a film, but I'm going to play a video so that you can have a better understanding of this.
es un vídeo. Instantes infinitos.
Infinite moments.
Vale. Un aplauso para
Round of applause, big round of applause for Nuria. Thank you. And the interpreter thanks Nuria as well.
Bueno, y este es el último
So this is the last show of my trilogy.
que empezaba en tu casa.
It all started in the comfort of your home. We had been promoting this webpage
Espectáculo.
that came along with the show. And so you were at home,
Jugabas
you could play,
web a un juego.
browse around in your webpage,
20 abrigos.
and you had to
Días con
kill
una entrada gratuita.
people. Like we were sort of playing a video game, and people were at their homes, they played the video game, they killed people, and if they won, they could come for to the show for free. And we gave them a T-shirt, and so the actors, the actresses, they knew who won the game because they saw people, they spotted people in the audience with the T-shirt. And we wanted to create this murder in Macbeth,
Morían durante el espectáculo.
and people in the audience
Con nuestros
died.
que morían se tiraban al suelo. Y
And so people
también se tiraban.
had to come to the stage, they had to lay in the floor, and yeah, they were basically killed.
Una cosa que había empezado en tu casa,
Something that started in the comfort of your home ended up here in La Fura de los Baus, and you were slaughtered live.
también tenía otra particularidad.
There was another specific thing to it.
Las pantallas,
Everything that we could see on the screens was
dimensiones,
broadcasted live in 3 dimensions with a little camera that
y la
had
gente llevaba todas las...
different lenses.
Que si un actor señalaba a cámara, tú veías como un dedo.
And so if an actor was pointing to the camera, you could see this actor pointing directly at you. It's difficult to explain, but this was
El teatro digital,
more or less.
digital,
So we could carry out this digital theater.
un decálogo que lo podéis ver en internet.
And you can, I'm not going to explain it, I'm not going to delve into it.
Del teatro digital es
Basically, you can browse on the internet.
actores físicos y
Digital theater
con las
wants to create an encounter between digital and physical worlds
en la red,
and bits in the network.
de bits y personas reales.
This edition
El teatro digital,
is what's called digital theater.
distintos
It creates different spaces, different times that actually gather in the same point.
Bueno, con que
Okay.
hemos tenido la experiencia
Considering that we already had the experience of using this digital synthesizer, we wanted to gift everyone with one of those.
lo subimos a la red gratuito.
And so we uploaded it on the internet for free so that everyone with their little laptops, mouse,
Estas,
could
estos,
play around with this access.
poner diferentes instrumentos y diferentes cosas.
And they could play with different instruments and so on.
Una composición tuya en la red o
We could record a piece of our own,
composición ya hecha.
or we could choose a piece that had already been done and add a little something to it. And with this,
Las mejores composiciones.
we created a CD, we recorded a CD
En esa época,
with a compilation of the best pieces from the audience. And at that time, we were
Quijote en
doing an opera piece that was called Don Quixote in Barcelona.
Barcelona, en el que
This was a project where the composer was alive.
para unos espacios
Therefore, we asked for
la ópera,
downtime spaces in between
los
so that we could
en estos espacios
add different pieces into it.
la gente
And so people could play around,
cobraban
the chosen ones
de cuando la ópera
received royalties for this, copyright royalties. So people could
hablando de ópera,
work in this project and get royalties.
de las mejores.
Speaking of which, we were able to perform in the best opera houses in the world with Frankenstein, La Bohème, Norma,
en la ópera de Sydney
in the Sydney Opera,
y hemos un poco
in Milan,
figurado también un mundo que era un poco de
and we created a world that was so different before. We turned it into something more dynamic.
nuestro ADN a contagiar.
Our DNA is there in the opera.
Bueno, y también partiendo de lo que hicimos en las Olimpiadas.
So starting in the Olympic Games, we started these macro shows. We did festival openings. This is the square of La Moneda
Moneda en Chile, en Santiago de Chile,
in Chile, in Santiago.
vinieron 500.000 personas
5,000 people came,
por esta plaza.
and they were walking around freely in this square.
Volverían a pasear libremente después de Pinochet.
And after the dictatorship of Pinochet, they could walk freely in this square. That was magical.
Pasearon libremente ese día con la Fuera dels Baus.
So they were walking freely with La Fira dels Baus
En la inauguración
in the square.
de los Juegos
So this was the opening of the Olympic Games in China.
¿Recuerda algo esta foto?
Does it ring a bell? Does it? Do you remember? It's kind of the same like Castellés.
Lo llevamos a China.
So we took the Castellés to China.
Bueno, ahora sí.
Well,
Os toca
now
bajar un poco a vosotros.
it's time to get to work.
Los que no habéis bajado Calliope, por favor.
Those of you that have not downloaded Calliope, please do from Google Play or the App Store.
¿Sí?
Okay?
Las que la tengáis, abrir la aplicación
If you have it, please open it
en el canal
and
Kai.
open the channel Kai 26.
Google Play. Vamos a empezar a ver
Okay, let's
si hay
start.
gente conectada.
Let's see if people are
Connected.
getting online.
Por favor, necesitamos que estéis conectados.
We need all of you to connect, please.
Es otro experimento que os va a cambiar.
This is an experiment that will be able to change your brain plasticity.
Después de esto no seréis los mismos.
After this, you won't be the same.
Bueno, seréis muy parecidos, ¿eh?
Well, you probably will be more or less the same, but not the same.
Voy a beber un poco. Es que no quiero que... ¿Está llegando? Cuando queráis. Esta es una aplicación
So this is an app
que viene de una teoría científica.
that comes from a scientific theory
La teoría científica es la teoría del enjambre.
of the swamp,
Esta teoría
like a bee panel. This theory
que con
claims that with very simple operations
enviadas a diferentes
that you send to different individuals,
puedes crear
you are able to create
muy
systems that are really, really complex.
Hoy vamos a crear un sistema
Today, we will create a complex system with you as witnesses.
los que no tengáis la aplicación.
If you don't have the app,
Los móviles de vuestro compañero.
you can look at your neighbor's phone, whoever is near, and you can share.
¿Sí?
Okay, ready? You got it?
Vale, seguid las instrucciones, por favor.
Okay, follow the instructions, please. Yo no.
No me entra a mí. No hay suficiente datos. No hay datos, ¿eh?
No network.
¿Eh?
He dicho lo que has dicho, que no hay datos.
Sí que sí. Yo no puedo entrar. Entra. No puedo entrar. No puedo entrar. ¿Tú estás adentro? Gracias. avisa. Ya. No hay nada como aprovechar la tecnología
There's nothing better than taking advantage of
que
technology
lleváis todos en el bolsillo
that you all have in your pockets
para crear una segunda
to be able to create a second narrative in our shows.
utilizamos.
We do this. We use people's phones.
Ay, me he dejado. Pasamos. Ya tengo pilas.
Now I have batteries.
Vale. Desde el año 2016,
From 2016, we have created this foundation.
la
We
fundación
created it in 2016. This foundation is a space.
es un centro de investigación
This is a research center in advanced arts.
para hacer artes avanzadas.
To be able to create advanced arts, we have to be close to research centers.
Los centros de investigación,
Research centers are the ones that
la ciencia ficción.
now write science fiction.
Hubo una época que el arte
There was a time where art wrote about the future,
escribimiento crítico.
about critical thinking that made everything evolve, that made society evolve. But right now, it's not art. It's not about art. Art is a little bit outside this equation.
Siglo XX y XXI,
Throughout the 21st and 20th century, technology and art were able to
el arte
grow, to improve, and art has been left a little bit aside.
es volver a poner el arte
The foundation's work would be to place art in the focus point,
la ciencia
to
con el arte y con la sociedad.
to make a link between art, society, technology.
Y esto es un poco lo que hace.
And
la
this is
fundación.
basically what the foundation does. This is our work.
Os dejo con el vídeo que lo explica mejor que yo.
This video explains this better than I can.
Pues
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
¿ha ido bien?
Muy poco tiempo para las preguntas,
Vale.
así que intenta contestar breve.
Bien, sí, sí.
We don't have mics here. We do have some.
¿Ha ido bien? Ah, un aplauso para Laura, my voice. ¿Qué esperamos? ¿Los micros? ¿Ah? Nuria, vales para todo, ¿eh?
Hello? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Pep, for this inspiring talk. We have a little bit of time for questions, and we will interlace a couple questions from us and questions from the Slido, from all of you. So my first question to you is, you've described to us how you were early adopters of technology as it was being developed, and you showed like the Atari computer and the MIDI, synthesizer. So my question is, of course, if there is a technology that is defining today's society is AI, so what are your thoughts about AI and its intersection with creativity and art?
Well, this is a tool, this is a great tool to work with, of course.
Nos ha ido un poco en contra.
It's a little bit against us, I think, in a way, because
La gente ve un vídeo.
right now people watch a video and they say, this was done with artificial intelligence.
Y eso no siempre es bueno.
And this is not always good,
Conseguido que la gente
because we made people,
verdad creyera
in some way, believe in the illusion that this was something true.
y ahora con la inteligencia
And now with artificial intelligence,
no está
kind of,
suficientemente aún
it's
desarrollada.
still not well developed
Y
or
vemos el fallo.
enough developed. And we can see that there are different fails, different errors, tiny errors. But in the future, people can be mistaken. Sometimes we watch a video and we spot that it's an artificial intelligence, but in the future, I think it's going to be quite tricky.
Es una herramienta.
And it's a tool. It's definitely a very, very interesting tool.
Thank you.
You see, in our community, we have a lot of young people, people that are starting their careers. You've seen through your career many different scientific advancements. What are the recommendations that you have for the people that are entering the job market right now?
Yo creo que lo mejor es ser un cerebro.
Well, I believe that we have to be hybrid. We have to be in a hybrid brain,
Las universidades,
because universities
toda la educación
and education in general, in some way,
compiladas hasta ahora
was gathered in one place.
para hacer la revolución industrial, ¿no?
And they wanted to carry out industrial revolution
Ser muy específico, ser el mejor en lo tuyo.
because it was easy to be very specific, to be the best at what we did,
Trabajar en
to stand out and to follow a certain line. Now it's more difficult because society needed something very specific. So universities were creating this kind of profiles. However, with artificial intelligence,
será mucho más rápida
it's going to be quicker.
en muchas cosas.
Artificial intelligence is going to be quicker, faster, especially in mechanical tasks,
Cuanto más simple
something more
sea
manual. Therefore, the more hybrid we are, the more hybrid our brains are, the better we'll be able to work with artificial intelligence, and we will able to make the most out of this artificial intelligence.
tanto, no me centraría
And we need hybrid brains. This means that I would advise everyone to not focus on one specific thing, but to focus on different things.
parte de humanidades.
Maybe people that study mathematics need to go into humanities, or vice versa.
Eso creo que es muy importante
And this is
tenerlo en cuenta.
this is key. This is something that we have to keep in mind, to be hybrid in what we do.
Claros a gente híbrida
And be close to hybrid people.
de los demás.
Be close to people that don't think the same as you.
En la fura, el que siempre llevaba la contraria
In La Fura,
era el que tenía la razón.
the person that was always against what was proposed was always the one that was right, exactly. This person was
Escucha al uno,
the one that basically was right about everything. If it's 7 against 1, we have to follow the advice of that one person.
sí, seguramente tendrás razón. A la larga.
Yeah.
Long term, he'll probably be right, she'll probably be right, but maybe not on that precise moment, but long term, yeah.
Now, we have a question from the audience. Totalitarism is on the rise again. what artistic response would you like to see in response to it? I know, that's a tough one. You said, don't ask me tough ones, right? But this came from the audience, like.
Yo luché en mis primeros años de vida contra un totalitarismo.
I fought in my first years of life against totalitarianism. Luckily for me, that was over. At my 20 years, that was over. But we need to fight, huh? We need to always fight.
Si no estamos juntos en esto,
If we don't work together, if we don't preserve our integrity,
no cuidamos nuestro,
if we don't take care of our critical minds, our critical thinking, be careful, because
con tanta seguridad nos están.
surely they're fucking us up.
Sí. Pronto, estos señores que habéis visto.
Soon, these people are going to be tied with a rope, and they won't be able to carry their jobs correctly. So
Hoy ya nos han prohibido cosas
today,
de nuestra aplicación.
today, today the organizers had to stop us from doing certain things that we wanted to do today with the app that we weren't able to carry out. So we're tight. Yes. So yeah.
El arte
Art. Art goes through turbulent times, and
cultura en general.
not only art but culture. Yes, TikTokers have done wrong to society. Have caused trouble.
Miréis,
Don't look at them. They're not right. Okay.
puñetera idea.
They have no fucking idea. No. Just forget about this. Forget about TikTokers, please.
Darlos.
Forget about them.
Thank you, Pep. Yeah, so another popular question from the audience is the following. As an artist, do you see art in relation to technology as commentary primarily, or can technology design be art as well?
Perdona, así
Si,
más fino, ¿eh?
si ves la tecnología como, o si ves el arte, o sea, ¿qué papel ves que puede jugar el arte con la tecnología? Si la tecnología genera arte, si el arte genera tecnología, o cuál es la relación.
Os he explicado ya que
I already explained that technology
nos crea mundos en los
allows us to create worlds where we haven't existed before. Thanks to technology, we're able to live in a world.
software nuevo
When you buy new software,
o lo pirateas, ¿eh?
or it's pirate software, or you buy it illegally,
A cómo
you have to get used to
pensado
how the creators
cerebro
created it. So your brain needs to
que tú no pensabas.
create a relationship with that software in a way that you hadn't thought of before, because it was created in a certain way. So your brain is adapting to it, right?
Por lo tanto,
Therefore,
para cualquier artista,
I believe that for every artist,
tecnología nueva,
it's important
inspiración,
to understand how new technology works, to embrace it, to
solo, pero va a ser un
try to understand it. Not only that,
nuevo.
you have to do different things, but it's going to help you create new worlds.
Pensar que todos dibujamos en Photoshop, todos hacemos lo mismo.
We all do the same in Photoshop. We're drawing, and it's a pity, actually.
Todo se parece.
Everything is quite alike, quite the same.
Cambiemos de
It's
software,
a shame. Let's change software,
cambiar algo.
and something will change if we change the software.
Así que yo encuentro que estas cosas, tal como pasaba en los talleres renacentistas,
So
pues en la ilustración,
as happened throughout the years of illustration,
que un
in
dentista era dentista, astrónomo,
where the dentist was an astronomer, and he did different things. He carried out different tasks.
estaba tan
Dentist, drawer, So he wasn't as separated from everything as we are now.
de tener un poco de todo.
Let's have a little bit of everything, a tiny bit of everything.
Y eso, la innovación va por ahí.
And innovation, this is key to innovation, basically. We have to go through this path.
Thank you, Pep. I think we have another question.
From your, apologies. So do you think that AI makes us more creative or just faster on producing the same?
Faster es. Seguro.
Yeah, it's faster, definitely faster.
Faster es.
Faster, it's faster, yeah. No doubt about this.
Depende de la profundidad.
Depends on how deep the audience wants to look at it, the spectator.
La IA es una herramienta, no es
Artificial intelligence is a tool.
creativa.
It's not specially creative.
De hecho, ella se basa en cosas ya creadas.
In fact, it's based on something that has already been created. As any creative, actually, any human creative is bases their work in something that has already been created.
Alguna solución.
It can help you find different solutions, of course, but
Tanto es una herramienta más
it's just one
en el mundo creativo.
tool.
Una más.
It's one more tool in the creative world.
So you are not scared of AI eliminating artists or creative people?
No. The
Thank you.
contrary, quite the opposite.
No, hace que toda la gente
It makes
que puede ser creativa. Y es
it makes people feel like they can be creative. Everyone can be creative. It feels like, yeah.
All right,
everyone-
and you think this is a great thing. So I have a question. You have the perspective of over 4 decades of working on creating these very disruptive experiences for the audience and combining art with technology. So my question is, what are the most important changes that you have seen between the people 40 years ago and the people now in terms of the impact that your shows have on people or their reactions or the participation? Have you noticed any change? Because now we are very used to looking at 2D screens all day.
For this, we make the application for the people have another thing, not only. Are you speaking English? Sorry.
No, you can speak in English.
Sorry.
No, you can speak in English, Pep.
La tecnología no está cambiando.
Technology has shaped us. Something has happened. Something has happened.
It's a miracle. He learned English.
Technology is inside my body. Something happened.
Thank you. Bueno, ya está. No, por eso hemos hecho la aplicación.
Well, this was the reason behind the app, really. We wanted to create a second narrative so
De otra cosa,
that people,
mirarnos a través del espejo del móvil.
wouldn't look at us throughout our phones, basically.
Frustrante.
It's really frustrating
Vivo.
to do a show, a 3D show.
En nuestros espectáculos es muy difícil que la gente esté pendiente del móvil.
And in our shows, it's very difficult for people to take care of the phone, to look at their phones. It's impossible. We wanted to create this because the show is everywhere, so you cannot really film it.
Muchas veces
And
te ataca por detrás,
sometimes you're
casi siempre.
you receive an attack on your back, or
El 3D tiene eso.
3D is all about that.
All right, so your protection against people using their phones is creating a 3D experience that is impossible to be captured on the phone.
Sí, pero la gente ha tenido esta costumbre de poner.
But people now are used to having their phones like that all the time.
Os perdéis mucho.
And I warn you, you're missing out.
Cuando no había tantos móviles,
When there weren't as many
abrazando a
phones,
durante,
you ended up hugging people in concerts, and
acababa bien la noche.
sometimes it ended up quite okay, like one night stand.
Dejar
So yeah, you're missing out. You're just missing out. Maybe go to a concert,
Look at that.
put your phone in your pocket, hug people, touch them, touch them. Good.
Mucho mejor.
It's better this way.
We get the message. I think we have time for one more question from the audience.
Hablo inglés.
I'm speaking English. I'm speaking English.
In English.
Okay. Miracle.
Miracle.
Yes. So we have another question from the audience. How can we use what we've learned from the arts to rehumanize technology?
En eso estamos.
We're on it. We're on it.
Tenemos algunos medidores en la fundación.
There are some ways to measure this,
Han conseguido más que nosotros.
but scientists have achieved better than more than we have. Scientists know more of art than artists about technology sometimes. Art can get inspiration from technology. In the foundation, we inspire on events that scientists propose us.
Muy importantes. Es porque hacemos
But we work with important data because
muy ecológica. Lo que muchas veces en hospitales.
we do what
investigación
something is carrying.
no pueden hacer en los centros de investigación.
Sometimes we're not able to carry out certain things in research centers, and we are able to bring that to life. We are able to
Por
create.
ejemplo, crear asco en un momento determinado.
Because sometimes people feel disgust by something, and we want to recreate this. How is it like? How does it work?
Y poderlo repetir.
And being able to repeat this so that scientists can put on a helmet, and so that people can understand how the information flows, what happens, what are the feelings,
Podemos ayudar
and we can help
a crear sensaciones
we can help
que son difíciles de crear.
recreate some feelings that are very difficult to be created in research centers, in laboratories. They would need like a new life to be able to recreate this in a laboratory to achieve what we can already do, what we know how to do. Therefore, this match between scientists and artists is really, really interesting, because scientists,
Los neurocientíficos,
neuroscientists actually,
actually, los neurocientíficos están muy atentos a
are very attentive. They're aware of what we do. They get a lot of information from art, from our research. We help them understand how we process things, if this happens or that happens.
incluso cómo explicar el cáncer.
Even
Tienen ni idea.
we can even explain cancer to people that have no idea how it feels,
Haciendo que las personas
making people.
enfermas o células buenas
We recreate a space where a human can be like a cell, like a diseased cell.
después de este experimento.
And after this experiment that we run,
Cáncer se preguntaba si las células
the researcher
de cáncer
was asking himself
tienen o no
if
ciencia,
cells are aware of what they're doing or not.
si son conscientes. Si
If they're aware, if they're conscious of what they're doing.
eso pasó
So this happened at a laboratory research center because we were doing this theater,
de forma muy parecida
and cells were behaving
cáncer.
in a similar way as other disease cells were behaving the same as non-disease cells.
Si tenían libre albedrío esas células o no.
So the researcher, this researcher at this event,
Investigación.
carried out a different line of research after witnessing what we were doing. And that was very important for him and for us.
Well, Pep, we had an amazing keynote. Thank you so much for being here with us. And And Laura, thank you so much, Laura.
Chao.